also live. You are very quiet, Zog.
Uh,
I just asked, why did they change the Discord VC join sound? It's for Halloween. First to last. Wow, this is so live. It is, isn't it? Sure, it says all of you are quiet. Well, if everyone's quiet, then turn up your volume. I don't know, man. If everyone is quiet, then no one is quiet, yeah. Alright, as usual, we'll give it a few minutes for people to file in. Jur says the Discord sounds are way louder than your voices, and I'm well above my usual volume setting. I have not changed anything on my end. Although the fact that Sog was quiet to me, and the fact that everyone is saying that I'm quiet, not everyone, but a few people are saying I'm quiet, maybe Discord is just messed up right now. They made some update that ruined everything, as is typical. My input volume is maxed out. So, yeah, there's nothing I've changed on my end that would make it make sense as to why it's quieter. Lord Nick says, hit me up if Derpy starts beatboxing. Probably not happening. All right. Well, it's been a few minutes, so I think it's a good time to start. And Noddle asked, what exactly is a campfire chat? Good question, because here's the introduction. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 27th Campfire Chat. We do this the first Saturday of every month, and it's just a place for everyone in the server to show up, to talk to the devs. You guys can post your questions in chat, or we have a Google form that I linked in the announcement that I posted at the start of this, where you can submit questions if you want to guarantee that we'll see them, or if you want to ask a question that we cannot tie back to you, or at least not to your username, assuming that you don't make it very obvious who you are. Submitted questions are only as anonymous as you make them. And it looks like, who all do we have with me? Is it only Tom among the devs? Sure, and Iraqi are here. They kind of count, right? Oh, Sog is back.
I'm still quiet, aren't I?
You just sound like you're talking quietly now, but
If
I can kind of hear you.
so, like my overall volume's fine then, or because I can do this. I don't know if that changed anything.
No, you're still kind of quiet.
Very quiet. I don't know. Maybe my headset's finally giving up.
Azure asks, is Derpy's sound cutting out for anyone else? Anyone at all? Or
Oh, I heard me on stream.
is Discord just like massively messed up right now?
Can you guys barely hear me on stream or Discord?
Borked Halloween update. You sounded fine there. Like, I think you just literally need to speak up.
Ah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna start yelling from now on. First question.
Yeah. Want a break from the ads?
Yeah.
All right. Well, to start off,
Let me see
welcome to
Switch.
November, everyone. Have you been enjoying the recent update? We had our stable update last week, version 0.10.16. And I know we have a good number of people who usually only play on the stable versions, although maybe not in the server. I don't know. What versions how many people here played 10.15 and how many were still on 10.14 on Steam? Iraqi just says I play. Lord Nick says I'm on 10.14. Old version gang says Arno. Sure says I've never played a release version. I just build from continuous whenever I want to play. Jintex says whatever the Steam gods give to me. I'm guessing you haven't opted into the beta then, so you're probably just on the stable versions. A Draft Chimp says I never play Endless Sky. Okay. He's just here for
Overused,
the troll. All right, but in any case, whatever version you play on, you got an update. Either it included all of the new content and whatnot in 10.15, or you just got a bunch of bug fixes. So hopefully that hasn't exploded in anybody's face, right? I have not seen any reports of any big bugs,
Yeah.
so it's good to hear. Another update that happened this week, but with respect to the server, we now have a forum for plugin releases instead of using a channel to announce releases. That then means that you can have a individual thread for each plugin, and if people want to talk about a particular plugin, they can then go to that particular forum thread or forum post to talk about it. Whereas before we had the plugin releases was just plugin creators saying, hey, here's a new plugin or here's a new version, and then you used plugin chat to talk about it. But plugin chat was everything, so it would potentially be hard to find conversations about a particular plugin. How are people enjoying that? I know that when we first created it, there were some people saying, "Oh, I'm not too sure on this." So for the people who are here, what is the general vibe on the forum for plugin releases? Plugin releases was confusing before. It says emotional hazard. I guess by before you mean the chat room. Azure says, I think the forum is emblematic of the tyranny of the developer team. Big if true, because I'm pretty sure it was one of our mods that created the forum. Not even a dev, right?
Yeah, I made the release channel way back when, but I wasn't here for this thread thing.
Emotional Hazard said it's better than me having to find Google Drive links for another game and I'm modding. Yeah.
Do we want to drag the archive channel down to the other archive channels, or still leave it in the plugin channel for a little while?
Yeah, I'll leave it there for a bit, and then I guess probably end of the month we can move it down.
All right.
Well, I'm not seeing any negative feedback, so I guess we'll keep it. Unless people are just cagey about giving feedback. Then on to other news. Well, with the stable release posted last week, the next release is going to be end of January, the 31st, absolute end of the month, because that's the last Saturday of the month. And got some interesting stuff in the works already. I think somebody called this out earlier. I'm not going to scroll up to find the chat, but y'all play Minecraft? So if you are familiar with Minecraft, when you create your world, you have the option to edit game rules, certain rules about the world, when you're creating the world. And then if you have cheats enabled, you can edit them after the fact as well. We've had game rules, like a similar feature for a while now, but it was all specified by the data files. So if you wanted to modify something, you would have to find the data file and edit it, or create a plugin that edited the game rules. There was no way to edit them in the actual game itself. But looking at that pull request that I just linked, assuming this gets reviewed, and I just finished it this week, and we have 3 months to review it, so I mean, it's probably going to be done. But this adds a method of editing the game rules when you are creating a new pilot, and if you have a particular game rule enabled that lets you modify the game rules for an existing pilot, you will also have that option to edit things on the fly. And the game rules will now be tied to the particular pilot that you're playing as, your particular save file, instead of being global to every save file in your game. That way you can have different just like Minecraft, different worlds that have different sets of game rules applied to them. And furthermore, posting an image of what the panel looks like, we have a option to create game rule presets. And what a preset is just a curated list of rules that somebody might have put together that says, oh, this particular set of rules has maybe a certain gameplay mechanic that it plays with that isn't normally available, or it's it's tweaked in such a way that it might have a different experience than the normal setup. This was originally all I was going to do, but then I was like, I would just also make it so you can edit individual rules. But the whole idea with presets is that if you have a particular set of rules that you think is really fun to play with, you can then share that entire preset with people as a plugin, and they can then add that plugin to their game and select the preset without having to individually edit all of the rules to match whatever your setup is. And then we will probably also offer a few presets in vanilla. Of course, there's going to be the default preset that's the expected way to play the game, more or less. But I was thinking of, there have been people over the years who have asked, oh, let's bring back death benefits instead of depreciation for whenever you're boarding ships and capturing them. What if we had a preset that was like classic Endless Sky or something like that, where depreciation is gone, death benefits are back, and then we disable some of the newer features, new mechanics. Be like, hey, here's your old version of Endless Sky if you don't like some of the things that have been added over the years. But this is one of those things where I imagine that as time goes on, with game rules being a lot more visible since they're actually in the game, we'll probably add more game rules in the future, in the near future, than we have in years past here. And then you can just really start customizing your game a lot more than you could before.
The only thing with that, though, I'd say is we're not going to add a game rule for everything, and it should probably be kept towards things that kind of like play off of the vanilla game itself, and
Yeah.
not game rules where it would just be like, oh, this is completely something that would never be implemented in vanilla, period, kind of deal, or like feasibly implemented in vanilla. So,
I mean, I will say, Anarchist has a pull request open for adding friendly fire. That is something we would never have enabled in the base game. But hey, if for whatever reason you want to play with friendly fire on, this makes it so that you can toggle that on, and then Anarchist is adding the mechanics to it. So hey, and this
yeah,
also opens up the possibility of adding. I mean, there's always kind of a possibility, but there was never a way that we thought that we could trigger this. But like a hardcore mode, once you're dead, it wipes your save files, or something I've talked about in the past. I think also the past few Campfire chats is having a game rule that limits how big your fleet can be for people who don't like the massive fleet gameplay. Well, you can limit yourself and be like, hey, I only want to be able to have this many ships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you die, it wipes your hard drive. Zipper says, I wonder if removing shrouded systems can be a game rule. I am personally in favor of it, but apparently merchants don't like it. Yeah, there's that issue that is currently open on GitHub. Azure says no because it would break the lore and missions. Here's the thing, though. I think that the story of the game should be geared towards the default game rules. If we write story that relies on the default set of rules, but there is a rule that somebody can toggle that like makes no sense with the default story or with the vanilla story, well, you kind of have to be aware that that's on you.
Yeah.
That's why it shouldn't be a game rule.
That's what I was saying. Is I don't know how deep we want to.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying that will become a game rule. Frankly, I feel like that should just be a plugin. But yeah, and bouncing off of that thought though, there are going to be certain things where we will say like, no, that shouldn't be a game rule. Just make it a plugin, because there are things that can be modified through plugins right now, and we don't want to make it so that game rules cover everything, because then that is just duplicating work that can make the engine more difficult to deal with if we somehow start tying everything into game rules. Warp courses like arrival distances. Oh wait, hey, I didn't merge that one. I'm not reading what Iraqi just said. I will note too that for the purposes of plugins can technically define their own game rules. They won't be editable in the UI though. At least right now. I started thinking of making it so that a lot more stuff is defined by the interface data. Maybe in the future that could be the case, that plugin defined game rules can be edited in the UI. But you technically could create a game rule in a plugin that says, okay, now what Iraqi wants to be the case is the case. Anything else that any of the other devs here are hoping to get done for the next update? I know I want a lot of Zob's pull requests I want in, particularly the ones that majorly the shop UI updates. That's been years in the waiting. Not the pull request, but just the fact that we've needed to update the shop UI. Instead of having everything instead of having 3 buttons on the screen and then like 20 keybinds that do stuff in the shop, most of that should just be buttons on the screen. Warp says, have you all started the questions yet? No. I want to ask you guys what you're looking at for the next update. Tom says we need to bring back the old shop UI. No. Is that going to be your game rule? Warp says yes. All right, well, if no one's going to talk about what they want to do for the next update, I guess we can jump into the submitted questions, because Warp is, of course, chomping at the bit for that.
Warp, you were very quiet. Or either that or you cut out.
You're like a football field away, dude.
He sounded like one of those guys in the No Papers, Please game.
He did. speaking some nondescript Slavic language.
How's this?
That's much
There you
better.
go.
That's much better.
Talking to the mic backwards or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shady pinged me. Do you have an ETA on the Wander campaign at this time? I do not. Does anyone else?
Whenever I get around to it.
What was the question?
Wanderer campaign when? Which is, of course, going to be followed by Navy campaign when and High Reveal when. So, I mean, let's just get that out of the way now.
Navy campaign when? Navy campaign when is the second question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of course.
The first question is when are the September meeting notes going to be published? I think they have been.
Yeah, that was right
that
after.
was- That was
right after October.
I got
October.
This comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
The third question is asking if there's an age requirement or if children's allowed to contribute. GitHub says you have to be 13, and so does Discord.
The question
So-
specifically asks about minors, so I don't know how old this person is. Don't
Yeah.
tell us either. Don't be going
Yeah,
around
we-
telling people online how old you are. That's a tip
Yeah.
there. But yeah, GitHub says you have to be at least 13 to make an account. Discord probably has a similar number. I started contributing to the game when I was 16, so if I said no, you can't
you just
be a
doxed
minor.
yourself.
Yeah. When I was 16. But
Someone's gonna go through your history and find out when you first contributed and
no.
figure out your age.
oh no.
The
Whatever.
third question is why isn't the pug? No, the fourth question is why isn't the pug affector considered a heavy warship? Hold on.
He's
Holding.
consulting the notes. Hold. Oh.
He deafened
He
himself, so he's probably talking to somebody. It's not considered a heavy warship because even though it's very powerful, it is a tier 3 medium warship, which means that for what the Pug are capable of and what the Quarg are capable of, because they're also tier 3, they can make even bigger ships than that, even more powerful ships. So think about it.
Yeah, for example, the light warship for the Korg, the rather new one, the little Drake, is probably 1v1s like several human warship, like heavy warships or medium warships. So the designation of heavy or medium warship or stuff like that kind of changes based on how powerful the faction is, or more so in relevance to other factions.
Yep. All right, next questions. What are your plans for the Syndicate campaign? Lots of plans. Azurus is communism. Unlikely. Czech Warrior asks, more lore when? Lore is my crack, especially ES lore. Every update. There's always something new. I have a repository I'm pretty sure is public on my GitHub account. It has a bunch of old ideas for how the Syndicate campaign would play out. Probably that's like still pretty close to what my plans are. I've had more small thoughts over the years of what I might want to do with it. Those are still... I haven't really gone back and put everything down on paper again to figure out how that would play out. I mean, assuming I'm the one who's writing it, but... Yeah. I don't know how much I want to dive. I'll find it and link it if anybody wants to look into it. I will note, basically all of the intro missions that are in this repository, I'm going to rewrite. Or I, at the very least, don't think if somebody else writes it, that it should be a part of the final product. And there it is. So yeah, that's has not been touched in 6 years. So don't take it with a grain of salt. Don't consider it gospel. It'll be finished any day now, says Azure. Of course, of course. All right. Next, why is initiating first contact with the Bunradia so unintuitive? With how reputation works, you'd think most players would purposefully avoid harming the Bunradia's ships if they want to land on their planets. Frankly, I just wanted to do something different. Every other faction is, oh, land on their planet, and they start talking to you. So I was like, oh, well, what if you had a faction that most of them are friendly, but some of them are hostile to you? Of course, if you're getting attacked, odds are you're going to fight back or you're going to run. But if you fight back, what if the act of fighting back is what triggered the first contact? That was really all my thought was. And then from there, you, of course, they're the ones who contact you, really. That was also part of it, was kind of the reversal of you're the one being contacted by the aliens instead of you landing on their planet and you're the one who's contacting them. Cora says, I don't blame you. Or I don't know, blame Derpy, rather. Referring to, I guess, this. He did say at the time that he also wanted there to be an alternative peaceful route. Yeah, there's that too. There's just the fact that there hasn't been any story added to them, so there's no other route. But I have thought of having a second route of first contact, but my idea for the second route of first contact necessitated the Wanderer campaign being done, so point your fingers at Korth, at Doom.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt the same way when I was making Gagnar content. It's every alien faction is get translator, talk to them. They are friendly or ambivalent, and then you have access to half their stuff. And yep.
Yeah, Jintax asks, should there be an in-game way to show that, though? Like, if you talk to the Quarg after visiting them, but before contact, they might give you a hint. Potentially. It definitely seems like something you could probably be able to do with the Quarg.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Are job board descriptions supposed to be seen as made by an omniscient narrator or by characters in universe?
Huh.
Huh? Doom says, I believe there are jobs which get into your mission log without any in-universe explanation to the character from another person, and which have descriptions which would imply they're out-of-universe narrations. Would it? So, as far as the jobs board goes, that is supposed to be basically a public job posting. The idea is there is some location in the spaceport that is literally a board of jobs that people are posting. I need such and such material transported through some location in this amount of time, you know? Lemuria says, I have yet to see first-person pronouns in the job board. So?
It's not, you're not like walking up to the person and saying, hey, what can I do for you? And then they themselves are telling you the job. That could happen, but I guess that'd be more of a spaceport mission,
Yeah.
not a job board mission. Missions that are on the job board also have descriptions in the same way. Is it, like, are we comparing the descriptions to it, though, or just the presentation of it on offer?
The way I
'Cause
see it...
descriptions,
Go ahead.
I think some descriptions are more of that universal narrative bit where it says, escort this person and then escort this person to this planet by this time, and that's kind of more of the game saying to do that than it is the mission, like you're like a little pamphlet of things saying to escort Katya or something like that, which I think it might be a little bit different than an on-offer description.
Yeah, so to give some background here, back when MZ was still involved with the game's development, there was a set of missions or set of jobs I tried adding where you would transport people from high space, from human space to high space. And these would only be unlocked if you knew about high space. MZ said he didn't like the idea of that because, from his perspective, the job board is like I said, it's a public posting of jobs. Therefore, if somebody's publicly posting like, "Hey, can you transport me to high space?" it kind of goes against the idea of high space being secretive. On top of that, that also implies that the descriptions you get for jobs are in universe, even if they're not like written from a first person perspective, where it's like, oh, hey, I am captain, or I am such and such with this company. I need you to transport. It's not like a Fallout or like a Skyrim. You walk up to somebody and your camera like zooms in on them. It's not like that, but it is still in universe. In terms of the descriptions for missions, as in the stuff you get from the spaceport, that could still be in universe. That could be you as the player character writing that down for yourself, like, oh, I need to remember, I need to do all this. And then with respect to person logs, with the logbook containing information that sometimes wasn't explicitly stated within the mission itself, with some of those, I mean, that's probably the least. Let's find the wording there. It's probably the hardest to explain as how it's in universe, but something I've kind of thought of as well. Is it really the case that for these missions, like if you're talking to somebody, is 100% of the conversation you have with them actually in the mission? In the conversation, rather? Or could it be the case that after the conversation that you see ends, you still hang around with them, or you talk to other people or something along those lines, where you gain that information in a way that's not put directly in front of the player, but it is recorded in the logbook by the character of the player. I know there's been times in the past where I've talked about the separation between you as the player playing a game and your character that you're playing. And this might be one of those cases where your character learns information that you as the player learned through the logbook. That's just my thought, though. So that's not necessarily canon. Anyone else have any other ideas on that, though?
I know when we were talking about pirate content that there was a bit of a discussion on that and whether or not if you're a pirate that in the job board like black market missions or something would show up. So, I mean, I think that's a good point to talk about if we're thinking narrative versus on the public job board. So,
I mean,
in line with what MZ said, probably not in that case. But
well, that could still be a narrative in the sense that there is a public job board, and then about where the black market job board is located.
yeah, maybe those missions could be like colored or iconed differently or something like that.
I mean, they probably would be because that's already what we do with pirate jobs. Well, most of them that are involving something illegal. Yeah, just aren't they currently colored red? They are. Damien says put them on a separate panel. Potentially, but I think it's nice to have a very concise one list of jobs as a player, because then you can see, okay, what is everything that is available to me. I wouldn't want to be the case where you have to go between two separate panels in the UI, and you're like comparing the two panels somehow and be like, okay, well, what has the best jobs, or how can I chain these together to get the most income here. Eveless Online. This is Eve Offline. All right. This next one's not even... what is this? I'm not reading that.
Not reading that. I'm not reading the one after it, or the one after it, or the one
yeah.
after it either.
Yeah, that would... Are you familiar with Azure? In what
No.
sense? When are we removing the shrouded systems?
Right now.
Wow,
I don't think we're going to be removing them.
bold statement. This one's not. What are your thoughts on the Artemis 3 mission profile and the controversy around HLS lander selections? I don't have thoughts. This is Azure. Why are the devs so evil and terrible? Signed Anonymous.
Because Azure keeps posting shit posts.
Yeah. High reveal when?
Never.
Closer to the truth than not. No. I still want to work on it. All right. So this week, I looked outside and it was pitch black, and I'm like, and I look at the clock and it's 7 p.m. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's only 7. It's that time of the year where it gets dark super quick, so I have no reason to be outside. So, and this is the time when I stay up late and just program and write stuff, because if it's going to be dark for the next like 12 hours, you might as well do something inside, you know?
Yeah.
So that is to say, I'm looking to make progress on it. Will it be completed by the end of the year? I will not make that promise to you. I will not hold myself to that. But I will promise some progress. I say after I posted the 6-year-old syndicate campaign repository. It's up to you to decide whether or not you believe me, all right?
Only 6. I thought that was older.
Well, it was 6 years since I touched it. So it probably
Oh,
is
okay.
more like 7 or 8. But in any case, this is not the place to ask about dinosaurs. Why did Darcy leave? Okay, yeah, so if you're not aware, one of our moderators, Darcy, who's been with us for many years, decided to leave the server. He didn't give a reason to me. I'm not aware of anyone else that he gave a reason to. Insofar as he didn't give a reason, I don't think it's healthy to speculate. I would just say, hey, the guy's been around for years and years and years. Maybe he just isn't interested in the game anymore. You know? It happens. Nana says Darcy is doing just fine. Yeah. I've chatted with him. He just wanted to move on from the project. Okay, yeah. So, exactly what my random thought was, yeah. I mean, hey, we had our 10-year-old announcement earlier this year. What pointed out that the game is now 10 years old on Steam. Not a lot of people have, not everyone is able to stick with the exact same thing for so long, So if people who have been around for years decide they're not super interested in the game anymore and they want to move on, then hey, wish you well and was glad to have you. And I mean, hey, Darcy did a lot while he was here, so it is a shame to lose him, but he's got his life, man. All right. Ziproot says not everyone leaves because of the dev tyranny. Are you implying that they don't leave because they're afraid of the tyranny? They're afraid of what we'll do to them if we catch them? Zipper also says, everyone always asks, when is the Navy campaign? But nobody asks, how is the Navy campaign? Yeah, let's start changing our mindset on that. All right. Next question. What are our next steps forward for the Coalition? Whether Lunarium, the Resistance, the Coalition, the Quarg, or even human authors?
I
And
don't
then I'm
understand
not
what
reading
the
that parenthetical.
thing.
So, we do have Iraqi here. And he says, taps Coalition Dev, the Coalition Dev Room. Silent says, I'd like the game to stop hiding things from me and explain what things do. Seeing attributes like shield multiplier doesn't mean anything without a glossary or help file. Also, hulls that do stuff but no way to see what it does in-game makes me sad. I mean, as for that first part, we have tooltips. Just hover over shield multiplier and it'll tell you what it does. And typically speaking, if one attribute relates to another, it will describe that other attribute inside of its tooltip. And you can then either find that same name or that same attribute on the same outfit, or that other attribute on the same outfit, or just find another outfit that has that attribute and then read from there. As far as ship hulls that have inbuilt attributes that aren't made aware to the player, yeah, that's a long-standing thing that we kind of need to address. There is a very old issue on this. Let me look it up. So it's something we're aware of. It's something that we do want to address. I'll link it there for you. Advanced stats page from 2019. And then I link 7 related issues. And then various other issues have related to this one. So that's just one of those UI issues that always seem to stick around for a long time. 2019 is a good year. I think I have a bottle of wine maturing from back then. You can pop the cork on that wine after we get the advanced stats in. The advanced stats page. But yeah, so inbuilt attributes, we do want to look at those. Warp says remove the built-in attributes, problem solved. I mean, hey, that's technically a solution. As far as shield multiplier, I mean, were you not aware of the tooltips? If you were aware of the tooltips, is there any issue with them that you think we need to look at? I will say I have wanted to for a while now look through all the tooltips, specifically the attribute tooltips. I want to look through all of them and figure out if we should rewrite any of them, because I feel like some of them are kind of confusingly worded. Maybe shield multiplier is one of those. Shady says you could even put it on the page next to the ship stat so it's fitted nicely. I see what you mean. We probably could. Referring to inbuilt stats. Yeah. Damien says best practice is to provide an icon by the item with the tooltip so it's obvious. Usually an eye icon. Yes, but we have actually a lot of things that have tooltips on them, and I wouldn't want to spam eyes all over the place.
Yeah, it looked like a whole side of one page would just be a bunch of all eyes going straight down.
Yeah, basically everything in the shop you can mouse over and get a tooltip for. Well, on the right side at least.
Warps in the stadium again.
Yeah. I see there is a conversation about damage scaling in chat. All right, well, next question. When will Unicode support happen?
Never. Or when someone makes it and it's not bad.
Yeah, that's the answer. Be the change you seek in the world.
What were your Halloween costumes? No.
I was John Cena. I just didn't show up to the office. I actually told somebody that in the office and he laughed. So, yeah. Azure says I was the stock market in parentheses bubble suit.
Doom's asking the real questions.
Yeah. Doom says everyone asks when will Unicode support happen, but what we really need to know is how will Unicode support happen. Yeah, exactly. That's frankly a lot of these questions. Like, oh, when will this happen? When will that happen? You know, like how? No, how are we gonna get there? You know. Will Derpy personally, or when will Derpy personally be playing the Avgi campaign? I don't know. I will say I've been getting sick of other games I've been playing recently, so I probably should do a fresh playthrough of the game. I might also just buy Balatro and start sinking hours into that because I've been
You're
getting
doing Iron Man run.
I've been getting Balatro videos recommended to me lately. Will you stream the game when you do? Probably not all the time, but I could. Emotional Hazard says, no, we can't lose him. Don't worry. Every so often, I'll just find a new game. I'll sink 48 hours into it over the course of 3 days, and then I'll come back. I don't know what that GIF is. What in the world? What's that thing from? Anyway.
Getting freaky.
Like, for example, oh, so actually, I bought Slime Rancher 2 recently, have not even installed it. But back when Slime Rancher 1 was a thing, it went on sale. And I said in the server, you can probably find the messages. It was like, oh, anybody want to buy Slime Rancher 1 as a gift for me? Darcy actually did it. So shout out Darcy. And I hit him up recently. I was like, hey, remember when you bought Slime Rancher 1 for me? Is there anything I could buy for you? And he's like, no, don't worry about it. I was like, okay, cool. But like back then, I had no money, you know, broke college kid, and he bought the game for me. I played like 20 hours over the course of 2 days. Like I no joke, like was up all night playing that. And then I basically did everything in the game. I was like, all right, cool. I can go back to Endless Sky now. But for those 2 or 3 days, you could not contact me.
I will not.
Hey, here's the thing. I have not forgotten about it. I just haven't played it yet.
That's me with I downloaded way back like it was they were on sale a while back. I downloaded Solaris and X4 to try them out. I still have yet.
Yeah. I also don't have a lot of games on Steam. So,
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, so it's not like the ones I buy I usually play like immediately. It's very few games that I've bought and just have not played at all. There are some people I've seen it. I've seen people who they buy like practically every game and then they play hardly any of them. They only ever play Team Fortress, yet they have every game on Steam in their library. It's like, what are you doing?
Solaris is interesting. I think you learn about how to not bounce comment from it.
Damien says, I regret not buying more from GOG rather than Steam. Well, shout out GOG. They are Endless Sky available on GOG. Not that it needed to be on there, but you know, the more the merrier. All right. Okay. Well, the next question after this was actually something that somebody asked. Anyway, if I'll stream my gameplay. Will we ever be able to get science drones, or is it just the one derelict one? Science drones don't have any actual stats to them. It's literally just there for the sake of the mission. Although if you want to, Warp Core just posted the code that would be necessary for a plugin to add a science drone shipyard to Earth. So if you really want a science drone, I don't know what you'll do with it, but there you go.
Does it require a license? We should add a Navy license
That'd be
requirement
so
to it.
funny.
I don't even think the one example of the science drone is suggested to be of Navy origin, anyways.
Who cares? License.
But yeah, they have like a line of hull 150 or something, and that's it. That's the whole ship.
It can be a science license. Yeah, Shady says the science journal requires a PhD license. Certified lab coat over here.
It's kind of like there's an if you haven't played the update, spoiler alert, there's a new like intro to some Kahet missions that'll be coming soon.tm by Becca, and there's also like a little satellite that's purpose is more for representation and it doesn't move or anything. So it's more of like a plot device than it is an actual ship.
All right. Well, next question: where are the cats of Endless Sky? I'm not sure. Hey, we have dog missions. Why not add a cat mission? Somebody could do that. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Add a cat mission and then make it and Puny like exclusive one another.
Okay, I'm not really sure what this next question is getting at. Why are certain pull request authors so obsessed with their pull requests? I think one of the questions are weird, Lamau.
Maybe you should ask the pull request author you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the second part of the question. As far as the first
Yeah,
part of
which
the question, people are enthusiastic
assuming.
about the stuff they work on.
I assume they're asking about one of the previous questions we've received, but like half of them are weird, so I don't know which one. So
Yeah.
I forgot who the author was. Okay, well, yes,
Okay.
please ask questions that we could answer.
Yeah, so the submission box is for questions, not for your comments or replies to our answers.
I forgot who the author.
Just P equal NP. It's not the type of question that we do here.
This thing is over. You're all being server muted.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Banned. You're
change
all
anything
banned.
before.
Banned for. You're grounded forever. Grounded, grounded, grounded. All right, well, stop. I actually have to get going here in a few minutes, so.
Someone asked, "Why am I banned?" I think you know why.
I don't even know who that is. Oh, I just spotted Wurzel on chat, on Twitch chat. Yo.
Yo,
Hello there. Wave.
Banned Puzzle.
He definitely did not ban Wurzel.
hey, don't pay Morzol.
You should
Shady
get him
says
a
Derpy
person.
releasing limited ground for our hubris. Yeah. All right, but stop. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, we're done. We're done. No more
Yeah,
submitted
okay, no
questions.
more.
It's just shit posted at this point. So we'll do lightning round in the Discord chat. Ask away, and we'll for the next few minutes here answer questions quickly, and then we'll sign off at the end of the hour. Can someone tell me how to mine asteroids properly? Because I try to mine Yoderite and only get a few. Do I need to go further from the center of the system to find more? No. If you find a asteroid that you can mine, all of the other mineable asteroids should be about in the same ring around the system center. Some systems only have a few asteroids in them. So if you mine them and can't find any more, you should land, depart, and then go back to the system. That will respawn the asteroids. I don't think does it respawn them if you just leave the system and come back? I'm not sure. I know if you land and come back, it'll definitely respawn them.
Don't think so.
And then, of course, just have an asteroid scanner. If it's a bigger system or with a larger asteroid ring, install a bunch of asteroid scanners just so it becomes easier to spot them from further away. And that would be what my suggestion is.
also to know Yo traits is a very rare type of mineable, so you will only at a time find 1 to 3 of them in a system,
Yeah.
regardless of where you go. If you find them, they're going to be rare.
Yeah. When will it be canon to the pug or dog people? I don't think they're described as such, so probably never.
Yeah, the game describes what they look like. They're compared to elves by the deep.
Are we getting human books coming to the coalition market? I don't know. That's an Iraqi question. That'd be funny though. More Drac lore when? We can't tell. We don't even know. Only the Drac know.
Now,
Now.
Now and forever.
Suddenly the lore of the Drac is beamed into your
Pretty
head
telepathic.
from an Archon. When will Azure delete the Avgi campaign? Sooner than you think, he responds. Are we getting body pillows? Probably not, no. Hey, I mean, do I dare explain this? The game is open source. Everything is released under permissible licenses. As long as you credit the game, if you make merch, then you can keep all the proceeds. If a meteor missile pod with a velocity of 660 and tracking of 65% shoots at a ship 1,000 away, moving
1001.
what is the airspeed of an unladen small? Doomcore says, unfortunately, a disastrous attempt to publish the film Arachnophobia and Coalition Space led to an embargo on all human media. That's real. That's canon. Sibud says, an actual serious question. Is anyone working on short hop human missions that you can do in a shuttle or star barge? Right now, the spaceport is still pretty barren, and it seems like new content is all like 8 or 9 missions or more. I mean, if you're just referring to adding more missions that you can find in the spaceport, then that's always something that we can have. Also, many missions require a bunch of crew/cargo space or need combat rating. That's also true. There's a lot of the bigger sets of missions that people add are things that are expected of players or pilots with a lot more capabilities, bigger ships. So if you want to go ahead and add like small missions that maybe have high chances of being offered if you are in a smaller ship, then go for it.
The only thing I thought I have on that is I don't know how much we want there to be pop-up spaceport missions earlier on in the game, like as a common
well, there's
thing.
already a lot of them, so it's
Yeah,
a
that's
bit
what
late for that.
I know.
Having
And
played
that's,
the game several times recently, there's no shortage of missions there.
yeah, and that's why I've been saying this every now and then. Is that I think we should go back and look at the game, look at how often we get missions earlier on in the game, and make sure it's more like it's gradual and not just there's like an 80% chance every time you go to the spaceport there's a mission there. That makes more sense later on, but earlier on that seems like a lot to be flooding the player with, especially if it's not
I think it's great because a lot of those
local.
missions pay a lot more than jobs.
Well, that's a different story if we're talking about economy.
Azure asks, when will we get ChatGPT integration into merchant hails? I don't know.
Never.
Never.
All right, well, we have reached the 1 hour mark, so I think it's about time to wrap up here. Let me just double check. Yeah, just that one weird question.
If anyone wants to watch me on my 13th attempt at an Iron Man run of the game, I'll be streaming soon.
So stay tuned for
What
that.
do you die to most of the time? Heavy rockets?
No, I won't, Azure. I already told you after I finish. Then I'll look at your PR.
All right. Well, let's just wrap up then.
Every time
Thank
you ask
you.
me, wait, every time you ask it gets pushed back by a playthrough.
It's like, wait, I need to roast this guy right now. All right. Thank you everybody for showing up for today's Campfire Chat. A reminder that we do these the first Saturday of every month at around the same time, give or take an hour here. The next one will be the 6th of December. So see you then if you'll show back up. There is a submission box that a Google form that you can submit questions to if you think of a question and don't want to forget it for the next time these roll around. We do stream these on Twitch or YouTube, depending on who's hosting at the time. And then we have a separate account where we save all of the replays. So if you could not catch this live and you're catching the replay, you're welcome for that. Anything else to talk about here? I think that's everything, right?
Mm.
Well, I hope everyone has a good rest of your day.
Yeah.
Adios.
See you next time.